Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. Today guys, we're going to be diving down into the charts for Cardano. As we get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe. Tap that bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you are going to be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Right, with all of that said, done, and out of the way, let's jump on down into the desktop and take a look at what is going on here with Cardano. Okay guys, we're going to start things off with our hourly chart. We're going to really pay attention to what's been going on most recently and where I think the price of Cardano is likely to go in the short term, and then we'll build this up into the medium and long term views as well. So let's get started with what's been going on recently just over here, right? So as we can see, they had actually had an impulsive move to the downside. Now, this doesn't actually meet a lot of the requirements, I don't think. Let me just quickly check. We'll just grab that and move it over. Yeah, so we actually fell short of going impulsive, right? We didn't actually cross the 1.382. We pretty much bounced directly from it. But it is clear to see that we actually have these waves and we are moving in the general direction of this fifth wave and the final wave. So although it doesn't quite reach that kind of threshold to say it's technically impulsive, the wave counts here are aligning perfectly to an impulsive move to the downside. So when we actually take a look at this, we have this move to the downside here. It's quite a rapid one, and then a small ABC up, and again another wave count coming down here, and then another ABC up, and then this is followed with the ABC down, and now we're tracking an ABC up, and now we're looking to finish this off with another ABC move to the downside. So as I said, it's not technically an impulsive move, but it does actually allow us for, on a macro view here, or at least zoomed out a little bit on the hourly, we can see that there are definitively 5 waves. But when we actually break this down, we actually have, if I just start over here, for example, is a wave count that's kind of moving in the general kind of direction. So let me grab hold of this and I will show you what I mean. So on our way down here, and then moving up, we actually have this ABC move, a really short C wave, actually coming up right up into this upper resistance, as you can see, like a double top. And then we have this move, a double bottom. I couldn't come write it really. A B wave and a C wave coming down, and again we also have an ABC wave just inside there. So you could break this down even further. If I remove that one, you can see that we have this A, B, and C just here. Okay, so effectively there's lots of choppy moves. It's almost easier not to draw them up this way, and it's easier to kind of really focus in on the bigger move. But obviously here we have the A, B, and C move up. This actually then takes us up into again another little local top just here at 105, and again, you know, I'll remove these so we can actually see the bigger picture, which is really important, is that we are likely to see a smaller ABC to the downside now, that will take us right into this final fifth wave low. And if I actually just move that, there'll be a bit of a push in the middle here, usually with a definitive B wave, and then we end up with that final fifth wave. Now, in order to get to that fifth wave target, as you can see here, what we've done is we've measured the distance here on our fourth wave high, effectively about here, and we can see that the 1.618 99.6 cent is the minimum threshold for this final fifth wave down. So for Cardano, we obviously have a very definitive way of actually counting the waves, although not technically impulsive, and we can count it as 5 waves because all of the ABCs actually allow for it. So in that last kind of little leg, that little 5 wave move, that fifth wave move with the ABC, that actually takes us just below $1, which from a couple days ago, you'll remember that I actually thought wasn't going to happen. So here I am wrong again, but we can of course see that this is a move that is very, very probable that we're going to pull down into this lower range. Now, obviously, as we can see that this is an entire A wave here with a B wave up, the C wave is also probably going to bring us down. And again, we can actually measure this, move it over to that top that we were just talking about. And here we also get the same level, right? So we have the 1.618 of the measurement of our fourth wave, taking us down to 99.6, and the C wave measurement here on a larger scale, so A, B, and C, takes us down to 99.9. So right here in this sweet spot, we are likely to see Cardano come down to. This is going to be the shorter time view, and this is something that we anticipate to actually happen potentially within probably the next 12, 24 hours, maybe at a push it will happen in 48 hours, but for the most part I would expect it to happen within a day, and we should start to see this pull back down. Now, For Cardano, we can also acknowledge that the stochastic RSI is overbought. So that's basically allowing us to see this as a top. And again, from there, we would expect this stochastic RSI to pull back down. And as so, the price pulling down into this final fifth wave. Okay, so that takes us down to just below 1 cent. And then from $1. And then from there, we would look for an ABC move to the upside. Now, this really depends on what the market conditions are like at the time as to whether or not that is a nice big ABC move to the upside. And after a fifth wave like this, you would anticipate that it would. You would think that it would actually be a pretty substantial move. However, you could also argue that, you know, if the markets are not favorable, you end up with a small ABC and then a slightly larger one coming down. I think that's unlikely, but it's very, very possible. And I'll go into why in a moment. The other thing I really wanted to kind of talk about is all of this move, right, from that lower range just down here, okay, that low that we had at 91 cent, and the push that we had to the upside, right, this fifth wave high just up here, right? That particular move, if we were to measure it with a Fibonacci retracement tool just here, and we actually go ahead and put this where we just are, we can acknowledge that this area of the 618, there's 1.618, is just above the 786 of that entire retracement. So again, those Fibonacci retracements, you know, and they resonate incredibly well with Elliott wave here. What you have is this impulsive move up all the way from our lower range here, really, and pushing up into that high point. All this corrective action is taking us right down into the 786 retracement. This is going to be a high area of probability that we are likely to see a bit of a push to the upside. So with that being in mind, we should probably, you know, be very, very aware that that 786 retracement is an area that we would normally be bouncing from. Okay, so we do need a correction here on our hourly chart to bring us down into that range. What about our 4 hourly? Well, our 4 hourly has actually taken a pretty steep kind of rise here on that stochastic RSI. So this effectively means that there's plenty of room for the 4 hourly to correct down along with our hourly price as well. So we should be very, very mindful that the 4 hourly chart is very much in need of a correction, just like our hourly chart, but not as much, not to the same degree. So again, this can move quite fast, it could be quite rapid, it could just correct down very, very quickly, and it wouldn't be anything to really worry about. As we get up into the larger time frames, we can acknowledge the 8 hourly chart. This is actually already in the over sold area, right? So we don't really have to worry too much about the 8 hourly view, because it's already exactly where we want it. The daily chart, however, is it's almost there. It's almost fully corrected. So this final fifth wave down, that would actually put us in a really good spot. Let me actually just get rid of that for a second and load this up. So this basically is put us into a really good spot, allowing us to see this correction. So a little bit further, and we should be firmly in the oversold on the daily chart. Now, as I come back out of this, and we jump up into our weekly chart, you get the same story, right? We're already oversold. So the only two charts that really need this correction right now is the 4 hourly and the hourly, and once they're done, we should be in a pretty good spot to start to see a pretty good run to the upside, as long as the market conditions allow for it. And what I mean by this is we need to make sure that Bitcoin you know, is pretty much aligned to this. For the most part, it is. Bitcoin actually needs a bit of a correction, but it's not a big steep correction. It has been steadily correcting, and the 786 retracement zone is actually pretty much consistent across the board. There are the odd exception here and there that does not necessarily align to that full retracement zone. But for the most part, most coins are actually, you know, holding that level really, really well right now. So for Cardano here, this could be, you know, a fantastic opportunity to get, you know, Cardano at just less than $1 before actually really significantly moving to the upside. I mean, it's also worth noting that this is an area that found really good, strong support previously. So the probability of actually pulling down much lower than that is incredibly low. As they say, though, if you do lose support that goes short, obviously we don't do anything with leverage on this channel, and we would never really kind of recommend such a thing because it is high risk. Obviously, right here, if we do lose that support level, we should be thinking about where the next level of support is going to be found, but also be very aware of that price momentum with our stochastic RSI and where we think the most probable outcome is. Right now, it's just below $1, but it could easily be that the dollar level actually holds and we don't go for that full extension of the 1.618 or into that little buy zone I have actually marked out down there. Ultimately, once the hourly and the 4 hourly charts are corrected, Cardano is in a really good spot for a really good push to the upside. So it'd be really interesting to review how this data forms out over the next couple of days and to see whether or not the market conditions are really favorable for a good push to the upside, and this whole corrective pattern is finally put behind us. Again, this next leg to the upside could be absolutely massive. effectively allowing us to call this wave 1, wave 2, potentially a third wave, a fourth and a fifth that comes after. So some interesting things are going to be happening here in crypto over the next, probably next kind of week. And I think at that point, we're going to start seeing reversal across the board, and we're going to start seeing a really good steady push to the upside for many, many cryptos, including Cardano's ADA. As we kind of get out of this video, if you find it useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you are going to be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With all of that said, done, and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.